Training at Emerald Downs continues for the 2008 meeting. A dominant first-out winner in each of his 2 seasons of racing to date, A Touch of Malice, is readying for his 4-year-old year for trainer Howard Belvoir. The son of Tribunal and Spite and Malice worked a half-mile in 48 seconds flat. Also on Wednesday's work tab was the gray Morgan's Money, a Robbie Bays trainee by skimming. He traveled the half-mile in 48 2/5 seconds. For every horse racing at Emerald Downs, there's of course a jockey and a trainer, and there's an owner too. Owners pay the bills, but also reap the rewards and perks. One way to get in is through an ownership group. Here's a few who've enjoyed that route. Vic Cazzetti is a very well-known figure in Northwest racing and has branched out into many areas of the sport, including horse ownership.
In 1979, Edwards Bloodstock started up, and Craig asked me to come out and sell some insurance with him. You know, there was a lot of insurance. We were doing Lloyd's of London at that time. And he went to Arkansas and bought a filly that by flag officer called Sweet Little Lynn eventually. We bought her. And he says, why don't we sell a couple shares? And so I had my newsletter at that time. You know, I had the newsletter. I had over 200 members. So I put in my newsletter, and I immediately had 3 or 4 inquiries.
He's brought many new owners into the game, usually around 10 at a time.
Well, that's why I had to set out mine for a syndicate of 10 to meet with the requirements in the state of Washington as to how many people can own a racehorse. And at one time it was 20, and I have it set up where it's 10 people. I can have the horse and syndicate it for 10 shares. I retain a share, then we sell 10% shares for X number of dollars. And it's an inexpensive way to get your feet wet to get in the thoroughbred business. I mean, if I sell a share, say I sell a share for maybe $500 per 10% share. And so that's for the down payment, you might say, like you're buying a car. Now you're going to make these payments over the time, but the payments are expenses. And I tell people, if they're brand new, I tell people, if you can afford to get into this business, it's going to cost you between $1,600 and $2,000 a year towards your expenses, upkeep on the horse, training, board, jockey fees, etc., 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 if he doesn't make a dime. That's for 10%.
Vic's had scores of winners over the years, and one of his best was Jazzin' with Windy.
Jazzin' with Windy in front, and Jazzin' with Windy scores 3 parts of a length.
When we moved to Emerald Downs, Vince Gibson was training for us at that time. We'd been to Yakima, had kept a couple of horses over there. And we came over to Emerald Downs, and the first horse we had was running over here was Jazzin' with Windy. And I'll never forget that time. We were up in Burlington. Yourself, Joel, and there was Jim Streeter and Lance Williams were all up there. And Jim Streeter was talking about, he says, we're talking about clocking some horse to look for, and Jim said, well, he said, the clocker told me to look out for this horse called Jazzin' with Windy. And I said, that's my horse.
Jazzin' with Windy won on June 27th, 4 consecutive years at Emerald Downs, and she earned nearly $400,000 in her career. Local school teacher Vicki Potter's love of horses goes back a number of years, and her enthusiasm was contagious, causing her ownership group to grow.
I actually bought my first horse at Long Acres in 1982 with another partner, and we bought it for very cheap, and she made us some money, and that was the beginning of the whole partnership and whole horse ownership thing. And then when Emerald Downs opened, we decided we wanted a horse, so I got a group of friends together, and we went to auction and purchased a horse, and he won his first start. So that continued that good feeling about being a horse owner. He won on November 1st in the first race of opening season. So.
Starlight Jazz by a length and a half to Cassell's Boy. A very good win to Starlight Jazz by 2 lengths.
And so that fall, then we decided to buy a second horse, and that was Starlight Pete. And he did very poorly his 2-year-old year, but as a 3-year-old, we won 5 races with him, a 2nd and 2 fourths, and it was phenomenal. And at one time we counted 100 people in the winner's circle towards the end of the season, and everybody was inviting friends, family, grandkids were back petting him, and so we decided to keep going, and we bought another horse and had more partners, and it kept growing and growing and growing.
Potter and Company have made owning a horse year-long entertainment.
We have such a large group and a large extended group too. When one horse runs, everybody wants to be part of that horse, particularly with a horse like Courting Seattle, which is one that we own now. And when he is running in stakes races and a date that we know, we plan a party here at Emerald Downs. When you run a racehorse, it's not really a money-making deal in most cases. So last year we had 4 horses, we had 1 win, but we had a great year of meeting for breakfast every weekend. We traveled to Reno. We've done a lot of fun things as a partnership and a group of friends, and that really is what makes this fun for us.